Got dog hairs on me and crap. Does anybody hate that when there's a dog around and just dog hairs just float all over you? Welcome everybody. Let's talk about a Q&A today. And I did a giveaway. So all of you that were on my Instagram and kind of seen, the way I wanted to do my giveaway was just a little bit different. Rather than typically the way I do my giveaways, like for like products and whatnot, I typically just have people just comment 3 people's names and you can continually commenting, and it's like a new entry every time. This time I want to do a little different and make a Q&A out of it. So yeah, I was like, if you ask a question, it's an entry to win. So I picked 2 winners. So 2 winners for the giveaway, if that's the only reason you're here and you don't want to watch the Q&A portion of this, are liftinlove_22 and Kelly Lifts. So congratulations. I'm going to send you all some Pulse and some, I think it was chocolate. It doesn't matter, Whey Plus, whatever flavor you want. And let's get into the Q&A. So if you were here for just the giveaway, you can leave. Or if you want to stay for the Q&A, here's the Q&A. So first question I got, and this is all like raw, live, like I haven't read almost any of these questions. Like I went through and liked them, but I haven't like gone through and proofread any of them. So let's get this started. If you could change one thing about the fitness industry, what would it be? I would say I would change how fake people are, and I would change how many people are trying to be something that they're not, and all of the false things that people believe to be real about the fitness industry. Because when I first got into it, I didn't know about all the things that go on behind the scenes. I didn't know about all of the things that people really do and what is real and what isn't real. So I would, if I could change one thing, I would change things from being fake and more real and transparent. So what is your favorite and most effective cut meal? I don't think there's anything such as a cut meal, but I would say my favorite low-calorie meal is like low-calorie yogurts. If you have a Kroger nearby, they have Carb Master yogurts, are like 60 calories, and I put like 2 different kinds of fruit in there, and then I'll put like 2 different kinds of cereal in there, or like something that's crunchy. It's my favorite kind of like low-calorie meal that I make for myself. It's super low calories. It's like very good for you. Has a lot of micros. Has a lot of good things that are healthy, make you feel good and whatnot. So yeah, it's my favorite. What is my favorite cheat meal? Burger and fries, no doubt, and then some type of dessert with an ice cream. So like ice cream with a cookie, like a warm cookie, like a Pizookie or something like that. So, do I prefer working out at night? Maybe 1 or 2 hours before bed, because we all know we tear muscle at the gym and repair, regrow during our sleep. I have been working out at night for like the past like 6 months since I moved here to Virginia, and I personally don't like it nearly as much as I do working out in the morning. So now I'm kind of switching my workout schedule more of like the afternoon, like around like 1, 2 o'clock again, because that's my favorite time to lift. So, do I prefer training one muscle group per day, or do I prefer splitting it into twice a week while working other muscle groups? Yeah, so I personally like to do like, I would say 1 muscle group a day, but sometimes I throw in something different. So for the what I actually like to do, typically 1 muscle group a day. Like I'll go into the gym and I'll do, all right, it's chest day, or it's tricep day, or it's bicep day, or it's just quad day, or it's hamstring day, or sometimes I'll do it's leg day, so I do hamstring, quads, and calves, or it's arm day, biceps, triceps, or sometimes I'll even go in and I'll do chest and tris. But I personally prefer to do 1 muscle group for the whole workout. How much volume is needed for maximum shoulder growth without overtraining? Volume is entirely dependent on where you are in your progression. Like your volume is going to be entirely different to someone that's been training for 20 years. You know, like Lane Norton is somebody that does like an insane amount of volume. You can just go look it up. He talks about it in some of his vlogs. He does like a fucking shitload of volume just to grow like what would take one person a lot less effort. He has to do an extremely amount more effort because he's been training so long. So it's honestly just dependent upon where you are in your fitness journey. Has there been anyone that has stayed with you during your fitness career? If so, who are they and how have they helped you as they stayed? It's a really good question. There are people that I still communicate with that have been around since before like I started making a name. I would say the first people that come to my mind, and hopefully this doesn't like, if I don't say your name, don't take to offense this. But the people that come to mind, I know Michael Anderson. He's an IFBB pro. He's a good friend of mine that has always been there, and I know if I ever needed anything, I could reach out to him. He's a great guy. He's talked to me even before my first show. An IFBB pro named Brian Estman. If I fucked up your last name, my bad. He talked to me again before I even did my first show. He actually reached out to me. Was a really nice guy. There's people that like I met at my first show and my second show that I still talk to, that are great people that I know, like if I ever needed anything, I could call them and talk to them. But I wouldn't say they're like my friends, like that's the one thing, like I need to clarify on that. People that I don't talk to these people on a day-to-day basis, or like, we're not texting every single day. Those are just people that had an impact on me at some point, and I could still reach out to this day if I needed to communicate to them. Those are like the first two people that come to mind, but there are many other people, like IFBB Pro George Brown, great guy. I met him like going into my second show. Still, I talked to him at the Arnold Classic this past weekend. Really good guy. But yeah, and there's other people that like aren't in the fitness industry, but those people are in the fitness industry that knew me before I really became established at all, that I would say still I communicate with, or can communicate with anytime I need to. If you had to give up one major muscle group and never train it again, what would it be? Probably, I don't know, man. That is actually kind of a tough question. I would probably choose like a small muscle group, like forearms, something that like is just naturally going to get trained with other just movements, like just picking shit up, curling shit. Like your forearms are going to get work, so probably something like that. How do you meet a guy? If I ever met a guy with an awesome V-taper upper body and has chicken legs, what would I recommend him to do to solve his imbalance and muscle physique? Well, if he wanted the advice, I would tell him just start training lower body more frequently than he does upper body while he's in a calorie surplus. But if I just seen him, I wouldn't go up to him because it's kind of rude. Like, you don't ever want to judge someone because for all you know, he may love his body. He may love the fact that he has small legs. He may not give a shit or anything. So, yeah. Which is more important, pre-workout, post-workout, supplements? Because I do see a lot of pre-workouts rather than post-workouts. Pre-workout, in my opinion. Post-workout, use just nutrition. Eat food. Pre-workout, same thing though. You should be eating food. But I think there are so many things that you can take as a pre-workout supplement to give you the energy and give you the drive and give you the extra strength going into your lift to maximize your gym session. I feel like too many people kind of slack off in the gym and they kind of have a shitty session. So if you have a shitty session, your post-workout's not going to matter all that much. What are some high protein snacks I can add into my diet? Like beef jerky, chicken jerky. I think those things are like really good in protein. There's a lot of companies coming out now that come out with like chicken jerky, like Chef Cuts, Ostrom, a bunch of protein bar companies. Like that's just something really easy that you can throw in that's good protein and tastes really good. If I'm in an extended gaining phase, 1 to 2 years, how long do you think a mini cut should last when necessary? 6 to 8 weeks or less? I personally don't like mini cuts. I think if you're in a gaining phase, you should just kind of consistently do a gaining phase, because if you go into a mini cut, you're not going to be gaining in that mini cut phase if you're kind of an advanced or intermediate lifter. Man, my words are so jumbled today. So in my opinion, mini cuts are kind of, I don't like them personally. I think you should just commit to a cut, do 20 weeks, 24 weeks, however long it takes you to cut, and just commit to it. So just continue staying in a gaining phase until you're ready to commit to a cut. What are the best perks of being with Team Legion? The opportunity for growth. So I think it's really cool that I'm a part of a company that's only been out for 3 years and they're growing so quickly, and there's so much more opportunity within the company and it's growing so fast that motivates me as an entrepreneur and just somebody that is I like to surround myself with people that are success oriented, people that are growing and wanting to grow and go in the right direction. So that is probably the biggest perk of working here. What are some foods to avoid when bulking? I don't think you need to avoid any foods when you're bulking. Just stay away from things that you're allergic to or things that are going to cause you to have like severe like intestinal issues or like anything like that. How did I get into the fitness industry? And are you glad that you are in the position today, and would you change something about it? So the first thing is, how did I get into the fitness industry? Honestly, the way I got into the fitness industry, I guess you would say by doing a show, because that's when I actually met people that were in the industry and kind of I learned from. But the first thing I did that was like fitness oriented is after I graduated high school. No, I was still in high school. I was playing football and I wanted to do like an event, and they had something at the Arnold Classic called a teen challenge, and I entered in the teen challenge. I did that like 3 years in a row, and it was just kind of like a combine style like thing. Like you run like a 40-yard dash, you do tire flips, you do bench press, they had all kinds of crazy little fun events, but it was really fun, and like that's kind of like what got me into more competitive things like moving forward after high school. But then I did a show in 2013 and I met a lot of people like within the industry, and I learned the ins and outs, and I started taking social media very seriously, and it's kind of how it started. Also, to your next question, you said, am I glad that I'm in the position I am today, and would I change anything about it? Where I'm at right now, I'm very happy. I actually really, really love my life. As cliche as that sounds, I'm doing what I love, and honestly, nothing could be better. Like, I'm very, very happy with where I'm at. How important is leg day really? I mean, it depends. Like, what if you don't want massive legs, then don't worry about it. But if you want big legs, then obviously you should train legs more. But I think like if you're talking about like in proportion to your body, yes, it's very important. Like if you're looking to be proportionate, it's extremely important. And just improving, having just an overall like well-rounded physique, in my opinion, is if I'm looking at you and you have very small legs, I would say like, yeah, like you should probably train your legs because have it in proportion to your body. But I also think it looks stupid when people have like massive legs and a small upper body, which I've seen on quite a few people, and it looks silly. So it just depends on your personal preference with the physique. Who do I look up to most in the fitness industry? Honestly, there's not really many people, and it's because most people, how do I say this? Most people, if they are like successful, I feel like they did a lot of things to get there that don't like align with my ethics and moral values. And so if there are people that like I look up to, they're not really where I want to be. So it's kind of like a hard balance. There are people that I like, and there's people that I think are doing well and are successful, but I wouldn't really say at this present moment that there's anyone that I'm like striving to be, or I really like they're my idol. I don't really have anybody like that at this present moment. There were people when I first started in the industry, but then I learned more as I got into it. A lot of people are not who they say they are or who they're posting to be. I've been doing some research on pre-workouts and erectile dysfunction. Do you know any of the side effects, if there is any issue? Maybe in some of the pre-workouts that were like maybe had like shit in it that you don't know, like in a proprietary blend, but a regular pre-workout that just has like malate, beta-alanine, caffeine, just kind of the basics, it's not going to actually hurt erectile dysfunction or cause it. It actually probably would help because it's going to enhance blood flow. Almost dropped my phone. First of all, I think thank you for motivating me, and here's my question. You're welcome. And how do I keep myself away from all the junk food, and what muscle is weak in my body? What muscle is weak in my body? I don't really keep myself away from junk food. I don't think there's anything wrong with junk food as long as it's in moderation. I eat a lot of fruit and vegetables during the day, so if I want to fit in like some type of like junk food or something, I don't think it's a problem. Just calories in versus calories out, and I do follow flexible dieting if it fits your macros. So sorry that that's not like answering your question the best. But what muscle group is weak on my body? I personally want to improve my arms more. They're not where I want them to be, so it's just a personal preference. What's my favorite flavor of Pulse? The newest flavor that's going to be coming out very soon, Blue Raz, is my favorite flavor. What is your favorite flavor of Whey Plus? Strawberry, banana, and chocolate peanut butter. This isn't relevant, but what's your favorite song to work out to right now? I'm on an Eminem and 50 Cent kick right now, like their old shit. Like, I don't know, it just popped up on like my playlist, and I've been listening to it consistently. Good shit. To what extent would you recommend supplements for young adults that are amateurs at 4 times a week workouts? I mean, I've been taking supplements like pre-workouts and proteins and creatine since I was like 14. That's probably a little too, like, some people would say that's too young. So honestly, you don't need them though. Like when I was young, like when I was only like 14 to 15, I thought I needed them. Like I thought like this is the end all be all. I'm gonna look like Kai Green if I take these supplements. I was very not educated. So I think it just depends. Like, I mean, I don't think it's necessary to answer your question, but it's not going to hurt. Like, if anything, it will help you. as long as your diet and training's right. When's a good time to start your first cut? I would say if you're over 18 and you've added enough muscle, but you have a lot of body fat and you're ready to shred down. Too many people try to cut too early. Like I have like 15-year-olds email me like, oh, I want to get shredded. It's just silly in my opinion. Wait until you are at least like over 18, then start cutting down, because your body's natural hormonal production can get you shredded while you're adding muscle, and you are in the most primal state to just gain muscle that you need to take advantage of it at the young age. So don't focus so much on trying to be shredded and look like these fitness models or Ziz and whatnot. Like just focus on building muscle, and trust me, like when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, start focusing on cutting down a little bit and you'll be a lot happier with your physique, rather than trying to be shredded at a young age and then once you're 20, 21, you're really needing to play catch up and add more muscle. My question is, when the hell are you and Cory going to do the 10,000 calorie challenge? I know y'all would smash the shit out of it, and I have been anxious to see since first time she briefly mentioned you guys attempting it one day. I personally have no desire to do a 10,000 calorie challenge. Everybody knows, well, if you don't know, you can go back and like look when I first started prepping. I was labeled like the cheat meal king, like that was my nickname, because I would smash 10,000 calories in a day very easily. Like it wasn't really a big deal, but like now I'm at a point where I don't really do those massive cheat meals anymore because I just don't really have a desire to. So I just don't want to. Like to me, I will get nothing out of it. Like, except maybe some views on a YouTube video, but I don't really care about that. Like I don't ever post anything just for the views. Like if you know me, that's not my type of personality. So sorry. Cory might want to do one for you though. So bugger about it. Favorite movie? So I was just talking to Cory about this the other day. My favorite current movie is probably Inside Out, which is like a kid's movie, and it's really funny. I friggin' love it. Besides Inside Out, my favorite movie is probably The Loft. If you haven't seen it, it's a badass movie. It's completely different. So Inside Out is a kid's movie. The Loft is more of like an adult scene movie. It's like a psychological thriller. You don't really know what's going on. It's like kind of a mystery. Like 4 guys run a penthouse, and like a girl gets murdered. They have to figure out who murdered her. It's pretty dope. So I'd check it out. Hold on a second. Alright, I got 2 minutes and 30 seconds left before I gotta kickstart the video again. My camera only records for 20 minutes, so. What's next to come? Show life projects. Really just focusing on business right now. Just trying to like grow my personal brand. I'm working on some side things, for myself and my personal brand. And I'm working on growing with Legion. That's kind of new for me. I've only been here for 6 months working with Legion. And I'm growing their sponsorship program, getting us into expos, getting us into events, sponsoring new athletes, sponsoring events, just like, I don't know, it's really cool. Like the sky's the limit though, and there's definitely more to come from me. Why did I choose Legion? Honestly, Legion chose me, which is the really cool part. It just fell into my lap and I was very fortunate for it. Like, when we moved here from Texas, they knew I did coaching, and they started me off coaching for Muscle for Life, which is Mike Matthews' like other company besides Legion Athletics. And the position opened up for me to start running their sponsorship program on top of doing the coaching. But now I'm kind of weeding out of like the Muscle for Life coaching and starting to do just the sponsorship program full time. And it just kind of fell in my lap. And so while I started running the program, I decided to obviously start taking the supplements more. Well, I started taking the supplements as soon as I got here because like they have supplements in the office. So here at the headquarters, there's unlimited supplements. So I started taking them, and I really like them. And it's a great brand, quality brand. And if you're following me, you should go check them out. What is the best way to cut fat without losing too much muscle? Keep your calories as high as you can, and just increase your activity. And the more calories you have in your system, the less likely you are to burn through muscle. Is Legion official though? Legion is official. Favorite Legion product? Probably Whey Plus. I think it's really fucking good. But besides that, I'd say Pulse. I mean, Pulse is pretty dope. Something I take on a daily basis though is their multivitamin Triton, Triton is their fish oil, multivitamin. Yeah, so those are the things I take on a daily. What's my favorite chest exercise? 100% bench press. If you didn't know that, then now you know. Is creatine beneficial to take before or after your workout, or does it really matter? It doesn't really matter. Just make sure you get it in 5 grams a day, and just have it whenever and consistently take it. The issue most people run into with creatine is they take it for like 3 days and then they don't take it for a day, or they take it for 4 days and they take it all for 4 days. So just consistently take it. That's what you need to do. If I had to eat one food for a month and calories didn't matter and your health would be fine, what would it be? Chipotle. I mean, that's not really like one food, but like 100% Chipotle. Or ice cream, for sure, ice cream. Or cookies. God damn it, all three. What's my favorite ice cream? Generally speaking, vanilla. Vanilla ice cream is my favorite. If I could design an ice cream flavor with your choice of base and mix-ins, what would it be? Oh, it's such a great question. Vanilla ice cream with caramel, a little bit of chocolate drizzle. I would do like a waffle cookie cone that's covered in chocolate, and I would do Heath bar, and then maybe a little bit of Kit Kat. That'd probably be my ideal. What's something you wish you knew when you started your fitness journey? That's a great question. I wish I knew just how to grow my social media the way that I do now. The reason that I say that is because it took me a long time of going through a lot of things wrong to get myself to the place I am now. So I'd say that's probably like the biggest thing that I want to know. When are you and Cory coming to Houston? So I can meet y'all.
Okay, thank you.
Alright, when are Cory and y'all coming to Houston so I can meet y'all? We'll be back in Texas, probably in June. We're not going to be in Houston, we'll be in Dallas. We're going to be there for the Dallas Europa. Favorite ice cream? Vanilla. I already answered that. Favorite flavor of Ben & Jerry's? Currently, American Dream, for sure. Who motivates you when you started in the world of bodybuilding, and what motivation can you share to those losing hope on achieving their body goal? That was long. When I first started, my biggest inspiration was Greg Plitt, his motivational speeches. It had nothing to do with like how he looked or his physique or anything. Just the way he spoke and the way he articulated himself just really, it motivated the fuck out of me. And I met him at the Arnold in 2012 or 2013, and dude is such a great guy. Well, was a great guy. And then what motivation can you share to those losing hope to achieve their body goal? It's a marathon, not a sprint. Just understand, like, it is going to take time, but you will get there, and everybody that you see was once in your position. They may not have like looked the way you do now to now look where they do now, but they didn't always look the way they do at this current moment. You and Cory are like pros when it comes to going out to eat while also staying on track, so I'd love to know any tips you have for people who aren't quite comfortable yet with eating out, and also how long it took you to really get the hang of doing it. Oh, if that makes sense. I mean, it took me a long time to be really good at intuitive eating and being able to like eyeball stuff, but what that comes from is just years of consistently putting stuff on the food scale and tracking it and knowing exactly how many macros are in it to the T for how much weight it weighs. And you'll eventually, if you do that so many times of repetition, you'll just understand, you'll be able to start to just look at things and know what it is. And that's what I think a lot of people lack, is they don't actually know the nutrition by just looking at something. So if you can get that down and actually really weigh everything to the gram and really figure that out, you'll eventually get really good at intuitive eating and eyeballing things. Do I incorporate cardio into my workouts? During prep, yes. Right now I'm not doing almost any cardio. I'm almost out of questions, so if you've stuck around this long, thank y'all. How often should you change up the exercise so your muscles don't get used to them? I don't really believe that you need to change up the exercises. I think personally you just need to consistently increase the amount of weight you're doing, the amount of reps and the amount of sets, which is total volume, and focus on progressive overload and make sure that you are maximizing the amount of muscle. Fucking, I'm mixing up my words like crazy right now. You are maximizing the amount of stress you are putting onto the muscle, and that's just over time you're consistently increasing that. So no, you don't have to consistently change the exercise. You can do the same exercises and just continue to push yourself further. Hopefully that answers the question. So jumbled with my words. To build the most muscle, how many exercises should you be trying to incorporate for each muscle group in your session? How many sets of each? Also, if you're getting at least 2 days of rest between each muscle group, should you still focus on including full rest days or extra recovery? Not sure if I explained myself well, but hopefully you get what I mean. Okay, so for your first question, I don't think there's a certain amount of exercises. I kind of answered this earlier. The total amount of volume you need to do is going to be dependent on you and like where you're at within your routine. But if you're like a complete newbie, I would just start with like 3 to 4 sets of like 3 exercises. Like start very, very minimally. And a lot of people, I would say a good rep range is 4 to 6, lifting as heavy as you can with good form. But I think for newbies,